Infomercial. This book is a brief journey through the book of Jonah. Hopefully you gathered that from the title, unless you assumed it was the unauthorized biography of actor Jonah Hill or Christian rapper KJ52. Common mistakes for sure. While I promise to include what biblical scholars say, one reason I like Jonah so much is that scholars aren't exactly sure what kind of book it is. Like all good wisdom books, it doesn't come right out and tell us the point it's trying to make. Instead, it forces us to work for it, argue amongst ourselves, sit and ponder, find ourselves in the characters, and come to our own conclusions. Stories that are ambiguous, and thus pregnant with meaning, are like a glazed donut after a stressful week. My favorite. Add to that a cast of relatable and imperfect characters, and you'll start to see why I find myself coming back to Jonah again and again. My goal is to try to give you equal parts nerdy and creative, introducing you to the major areas in Jonah that scholars wrestle with while also asking questions that might ignite your own imagination. This is also a good book to include in our Bible for Normal People series because even though it's only a few pages long in our English Bibles, a little over 1,000 words, it packs a big punch. It touches on questions of historicity, genre, meaning, prophecy, myth, science, all areas that inform our two core questions at the Bible for Normal People. What is the Bible and what do we do with it? With Jonah, we will lean on our nerdy impulses to guide us through that first question and our creative impulses to guide us through the second. As we make our way through the book, it's critical that we set aside our modern assumptions and instead try to view Jonah through ancient eyes. We have to make sure we are paying attention to what the text says or doesn't say, rather than what we wish it said or what we want it to say. Interestingly enough, when we read Jonah through ancient eyes first, it becomes even more relevant for us today. But when we impose our own modern categories on the book, it becomes safe, sterile, and less likely to teach us anything new about how we show up in the world. Lastly, it goes without saying that there are hundreds of books written about how to properly interpret any book of the Bible, and Jonah is no exception. We won't be able to get to every critical issue or every possible interpretation in this short book. In fact, listing out all the ways Jonah has been interpreted would be a very confusing and boring book. So if you are left wanting, go on your own journey with the book. Perhaps using the reading list at the back is a good place to get started. Of course, if you still want to be that person who emails me that I'm not being truthful or accurate because I didn't include every scholarly option, you can go ahead and send that to getalife@doyoufeelbetteraboutyoursselfnow.com.